We'll call the meeting.
Yeah, can I have
Can you
one?
give me a copy?
Yes, I'll make that.
We're still a little bit off the agenda, but we got 2 o'clock, we got Zach.
Can't hear you.
Hey Zach, they're waiting on you.
Want to filibuster for me?
I'd love to. He's got 9 minutes, because at 2:30 you gotta do the budget adoption.
Oh,
9 minutes.
yeah.
Wow.
That's it.
Ready, go.
So we'll jump right into the agenda here. The first thing I have on here is the highway storm damage. We had some additional correspondence that I had sent a bunch of information out. I mean, we do have everything itemized, how Casey was requesting, so hopefully that takes care of that claim. Other than that, I was just gonna give you an update that we have a request for proposals. The plan is to have proposals here before the next commissioners meeting for distribution, then we'll go through selection. We'll get an engineer/architect on, and then we'll start going through the design process for the front office renovation. To date, we have a replacement amount from insurance of $627,000, less recoverable depreciation of $88,000, less deductible of $100,000. Just give you an idea, budgetary wise, we're about $188,000 out of the $627,000 is our insurance amount, and then we have our building maintenance fund to cover the remainder. We have professional services fund to cover the engineering costs. So we're sitting in a pretty good place to date. We have about $150,000 in all the other miscellaneous repairs between covering the old garage building, the salt barn. I mean, you can go through and see all the smaller claims in there as they're detailed out. There's no questions on the building repair. I'll jump right into community crossings. All right, community crossings, we received asset management approval for the 2026 cycle. So it should be good going forward into what you guys had already prepared financial letters of support at your last meeting. Those just opened up last Wednesday. Working through those grant applications right now. The only big change you're gonna see is some of the subdivision build out we had in there as a lump sum as a single project is actually gonna be 9-10 different parts. So the grant application will be big, all these small sections, but the scope will be the same. With that, the biggest thing that we have looking forward is the LPA call for projects. So we're looking at that opening here this next month. It'll open on November 3rd, we'll close on December 5th. So at your next meeting, we'll likely have a financial letter of support for you guys to sign on whatever projects you want to move forward with. Though they are keeping open to the 5th, so if we had to, we could come back that second meeting. But I'll likely have everything drafted. What I wanted to do today is kind of get a feel for what we wanted to do in terms of support. So right now what I have is 3 bridge projects, 45, 65, and 75. I think the bridge projects are no-brainers. I mean, with how our bridge funding is set up, we need to constantly go after bridge money because that's the only way we can really finance these larger projects. So Bridge 75, we put that in last year, out here on River Road, just west of town. We had put 2 in, we had only received the 1 award, so this one will be recycled as our first priority. It is a total amount of $3.6 million, federal funding being $2.9 million, 32,000, local match being $733,000. That's just to give you a ballpark bridge project, about $3.5 million. I'm working on another smaller bridge project, Bridge 45. This is up on Northport Road by 150 West. Kind of as you come up to Northport, there's kind of an odd incline, but that bridge populated on our bridge list. It's a smaller bridge. Total amount we had on that is $3 million for all phases. Our match been just under 700. So that gives you an idea. Bridge 65 hasn't been completed yet. Out here on section 525, but we also have that for scoping. It's a bit bigger, it's over 80 feet. that'll likely be more in the $4 million range. So you lump that all together, it's about $10 million total projects in request. If we got hit all in 1 year, it'd be a little bit difficult, but we have 6 years to figure it out. If we redo some priorities, what we'll likely get is 1 or 2, and we'll get whatever we don't get rescoped for the next time. So I think that is pretty straightforward. The big what if here is we have a massive capital improvement project, which is 600 West. We kind of talked about this before. It's being not necessarily added travel lanes, but added shoulders that would basically be for Amish travel lanes, and then also support the oversized loads that we have in the area. So we have what is scoped to be the first phase. A lot of things going on between US 6 and County Line North there. We have Bridge 70 in the mix that was just replaced in 2014. We have the railroad, big intersection at 900 North that's kind of a wonky alignment that will probably need corrected as part of this project. So with all those things in play, my idea was start at the biggest section and kind of work our way through it, which would be 775 North, just north of the railroad, so you're avoiding the railroad and the bridge. It's the longest section at 1.25 miles, going up to 900, but avoiding the intersection as phase 1. Doing that to kind of keep all the costs somewhat balanced, and where we end up is a $9 million project for that first 1.25 miles. So, just to give you an idea, by phase, the construction cost on that is $6.5 million in engineering, $1 million in construction engineering, and $500,000 in right-of-way, give or take. The reason I say that is it's the only thing we really have options on are the big road projects. We can put money in preservation for a long time and spend it down that way, kind of, we're in a good spot to maintain what we have. But with some of these grants, we can take on some of these bigger projects, but we know that local match is coming out of that same pool that we could use elsewhere. So some things to kind of think about. At $9 million, our local match is going to be right around $2 million plus. So $2 million locally goes a long way for us. But if you also consider some of the needs and what we've done recently with the commissioners with the buggy plates, we're estimating that revenue is going to go from 90,000 closer to 200 to 250 in that range. 200,000 or more, you're getting a pretty good match in the Amish community where you could see this as a big benefit for them as well. So I do think there's cost justification on both sides, but as a council, that's kind of more or less up to you to determine which way we want to proceed. I know we stopped on baseline last cycle just because we didn't think the value was there. We put that in twice and hadn't been awarded. I do think that this project is highly awardable. The main reason being is because the oversized loads are using 600 West because they can't use State Road 5 as it goes under the railroad underpass. And the state has no power to change that or fix that in the future. So I reached out to transportation director for the region for the state and we got that response. We have no plans to change that. It's not in our control. The railroad controls that area. So I do think it'd be very awardable. Thing is, once you get one phase, you probably want to continue to finish the project. So you have probably another 4 phases of that similar spending level. You could offset it by a couple of years. But if you really want to do that corridor as like a big commercial bypass, you're probably talking $40 million, probably 15 years to go from start to finish.
Do the oversized loads, do they have to get like county approval for their paths coming through?
Yes.
Like, is there any way that they can be sent over to State Road 9 as opposed to coming down 600 West, or?
We could just straight up deny their permits, but currently what we do is we permit it, we charge fees.
Just curious.
What's the price on those fees? I'm just curious.
I'd have to pull it up. I think it's $75 per. We also have an annual permitting option that I think gets used quite a bit as well. Oversized overweight permits are a majority of our permit fees that we're collecting. Just with all the fiber being fee waivers due to our broad band first status.
The other thing, Brandon, is to run the oversized loads east over to 9. There's no way to turn on 9 and Wolfville anywhere over there. Can't turn.
So I say all that to say the 600 West corridor, I mean, it would be a massive undertaking, it would be a big capital improvement project, similar to 1000 East was back in the 90s. But it's, I think it's a good rate, 80-20 is a good match, but it's still a large undertaking, so. At this point, I'm planning to prepare all 4 projects for your next meeting, unless you tell me otherwise now, but just something to think about.
Okay. Very good.
Real briefly, we do have another operator opening, so we had one leave, we had one posted. Sue was right, as the economy goes up and down, this is gonna be something we continue to fight. I'll still,
I had a question for that. Sorry to interrupt.
no, you're,
Why did you leave?
I don't know how much of this I wanna put on the public record, but there's the exit interview.
Because he was only here like 3 months, right?
Probably closer to 6. He'd originally come from LaGrange County, and now he's headed to the private sector.
Okay. Anything else for Zach? Appreciate it, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Do I need to pause our meeting and open up for public comment, budget adoption?
Said 2:30.
Okay, so we will recess our normal council meeting and open up a public hearing for the budget adoption.
So, I don't really know how we've always done this in the past, so I'm just gonna briefly go through some of the budgets that we're adopting and the dollar amounts that they've been changed to, just to let you know. So the general fund, which is always our biggest fund, because it's so dependent on tax revenue. So we're adopting that at 19,172,277, which is down 655,122 from what we advertised. So we did not cut the 725, we were shy by the time it was all said and done. Lit at 1,496,500. Sorry, I got them all in here and I should have sorted them out. Cume Cap Bridges at 2,424,000. Cume Building Courthouse at 100,000. Health First at 295,874. Health Maintenance at 12,005. Local Roads and Street at 809,000. Lit Public Safety at 1,575,561. MVH at 2,240,000. Highway 1176, which is most of their stuff, 4,378,882. Rainy Day, 1,150,000. Reassessment, 354,903. (911) 745,808. Opioid restricted at 71,393. Unrestricted at 79,850. Adult probation at 254,568. Juvenile probation at 17,385. Debt service at 913,318. Most of these are grants. The crisis, no. So between everything that we've done, where we started and where we're ending, we cut out $794,690. But, I mean, that's coming from all the funds, from when you throw them all together, which they're not obviously all county general. And all these have budgets, but, I mean, I'm not gonna go through every probation grant and tell you, I mean, they're just not in the same field as what we're advertising or what we're adopting, so.
Questions? And I think generally I have to ask if there's any comments from the public. I don't know, most of the department folks, with the exception of one or two. That being said, I think I need to entertain a motion to approve the budget as presented by Shelley.
I'll make the motion.
Got a motion from Brandon, a second from Mary. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
All the departments will get a list of all their budgets and what the money is from me now. And it'll be a draft still because it's really not approved until the state comes back and says, hey, you guys did a great job, thanks. Who knows when that will be.
January 15th.
One year it was August, who knows?
Okay, so we will close the public hearing for the budget adoption and reopen our council. And with that, we are ready for correspondence. If anybody had any correspondence?
The only thing that I had was Max had provided commissary report, I think that was sent out Friday. So,
Anybody have any questions for the sheriff on the commissary report? Okay, and I didn't have any other correspondence, so then we'll move on to minutes from the last meeting. Any additions or corrections to the minutes from our September 2nd meeting? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the September 2nd meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Max. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Passes 6-0. Committee reports. You have any committee reports?
I have one, last month, met with Northeastern Center of Finance and General, meetings, and also Council of Aging. And Council on Aging has now opened up their, Platt, I can't think of the name of it, Platt Hall. And they're gonna use that for, events, it's gonna also be the event center, so. They did a great job getting that up to snuff, sound system, new ceilings. They can't get drivers, but they do now have an event center, so, that's the extent of my meeting.
Where's it at?
It's at the, Northeastern, or I'm sorry, the Council on Aging.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They put a gazebo up and they're trying to have events in there.
Any other committee reports? Old business. Do we have any old business?
The only question I have on that, the old business is, it's been months since we talked about it, but, land that we were gonna sell or whatever, is that still?
Where at now?
Exact location, I don't remember, but
It was partial off the roadways, wasn't it, road, land that was not very
there was some
accessible.
that, and then, we were doing something with the
landfill.
landfill,
Yeah, I think that was.
it's still on the agenda, or just,
Holding pattern right now.
New business, library, board appointment.
I received a request from the Ligonier, library board to appoint Christy Hoffmeister.
Hoffmeister.
I'm
Angie,
sorry.
I'm Angie from Ligonier Public Library.
Okay, so she had a partial term, so she was
Yeah, she finished a term, now she is going to be for her first full term at this one.
What's the term of that? How
It's
many
for
years?
4 years.
Starting,
As of tomorrow will be the first full term, and then she had a term prior that was about 7 months. She's done a wonderful job.
We have a motion from Tom to approve the request for the appointment,
Second.
second from Mary. Further discussion? Not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 6-0.
Doug, you need to sign, right.
Abatements. And I was hoping that Ben, I was gonna say something to him to stick around to ask him, but, we've been talking a little bit about, I know Jackie had mentioned there's an abatement that's probably gonna come before us in the November meeting. And you might wanna just go through that again. for the
I
benefit of the
received a
board.
request from the EDC, for an abatement, here in Noble County. I thought maybe it might be worth you thinking about at least, what you do going forward with that $2 million of personal property, not being assessed in the future. In this particular case, when I looked at the property, it only is being assessed on $230,000 right now. The abatement was for $115,000, with one employee, being added to the workforce, which if everything goes through with the $2 million, they won't be assessed for anything anyway. I did talk with Ben's office, both Brian and Ben, about this because my understanding it was kind of a waste of time, but to even bring that to you. They did say that if the company ever got to the 2 million, if the abatement was in place, depending on how long of a period you granted it for, that they may be in a certain phase of abatement if they hit that $2 million mark. So I just thought it might be something for you to think about if you wanted to change anything in your abatement process. I don't know, I just kind of, when I looked up the assessed value, they won't be paying anything next year anyway, even adding the $115,000 piece of equipment. If that $2 million stays in place.
And I know that we had talked about, go ahead.
how much are they gonna be, is the abatement gonna be over, what amount?
$115,000.
I mean, they would forever and ever, and how many years would they have it for, 3?
Yeah, that's what it would be practically over by the time,
Yeah. I mean, the odds of
They
them
hit the
coming
$2
in and saying we
million.
need another $1.9 million is pretty unrealistic, I would think.
it's an established, company, so it's not like it's new and could, accelerate from 0 to 60 in a short amount of time.
Jack, you know what the total employees are? What'd you say, one additional?
One is, all that was adding is just one employee.
How many total?
How many total, yeah, I don't.
That I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know that, so.
I don't know, we've talked a lot about just the history of abatements, sort of the future of abatements, just because of Senate Bill 1, I don't know. What's the thoughts on the board? I mean, and the other thing, I don't want to refresh everybody's memory, correct me if I'm wrong, Danny, but the abatements, the format we have is, those are just guidelines, we don't have to adhere to any of that, it's just guidelines for us.
I think we're gonna have to adjust in some capacity and, relook at that and, make some adjustments on our guidelines.
This
Sure.
particular,
Because it doesn't really apply as it
this
sits.
particular one, it's sort of a moot point, isn't it? I mean, it's,
Yeah, I don't know what the value is to go through those
Right.
motions to approve an abatement, and they aren't gonna get one in effect really, so.
Yeah.
Cause you aren't gonna be taxed, so.
And I guess if by chance something drastic had happened with Senate Bill 1 and they changed the game, they could always come back. I guess once the machinery's up and running, they technically
Yeah.
can't, but I don't know, what's thoughts of the board?
I mean, you can think about it if you want to, that came up and I just kind of, was wondering what the outcome would be of all of this, but, I don't think it's anything you need to decide right today, but
I just
I
like to
can
hear-
have them come and present the thing and then, I can contact them and whatever, that may be the only thing that you might wanna decide.
I'm just kind of delusional about the whole thing with Senate Bill 1. I'd like to hear a little bit more of what Ben has to think on current and future tax abatements.
I know when I talked to him, I don't know what the number is down there that I could call him, but, I know when I talked to him, he said he wouldn't grant a very long abatement. Chances are, like we discussed, the abatement would be over with by the time it even went into play, in this particular case, so,
Could we, you guys all think this anyway, maybe get Ben on the agenda for next month and we can talk about that abatement and then talk about, now that we've had a chance to talk to Senator Glick, a little bit more about the impact of the bill and have him come in and we can talk about abatements next month's meeting.
I mean, this has gone into effect, right? The 2 million?
I think it's on the thing for next year in 2026.
For next year, okay.
I personally like to hear from Ben. I like what your recommendation is, Doug.
Jackie, you wanna see if we can get him on the agenda
Okay.
next month? Amendment to the park board ordinance, we do have some information on that, we had, talked to Denny a little bit. Jackie had prior to the meeting, I think, about changing some of that because the, verbiage on that is, directed toward the commissioners. If you guys remember on the park side, they are under, well, I guess they're still under both of us, but for this ordinance, it's pertains to council for grants and not to the commissioners. On other grants through the county, everybody has to go through the commissioners to get approval, but on the Parks Department, when it was originally set up, that's under our guys. Is that, am I speaking correctly, Dan? Right. So you're just gonna change some of that, so we'll have that on the agenda for next month.
Are they wanting to add a treasurer and requiring then that person be bonded? And then the second part was that they could apply for grants without your prior approval.
And that's what they.
Those two things, basically.
And I think that came with there was some, I read that, because they didn't want to allow people to be part of that grant, right? Employment would
Well,
be
that
part
was-
of the grant,
That was not changed.
okay,
Funding
That
for
was the way it
programs.
was before.
okay, all right, okay.
It's for programming.
I had a question too, Danny, on the, where it says the board may, should that be shall, or do you wanna leave that as may?
May apply?
No, may select a treasurer, if we're gonna allow them to have the ability,
Well, I mean,
does it?
that's their decision if they want to. And they were the ones that wanted to add this, so I assume they will be,
Okay,
rather than mandating if they have to, so.
okay.
I think, I did change the verbiage to council rather than commissioners.
So we can vote on it.
I think, Dennis, correct me if I'm wrong, because this doesn't have any fines or anything, we could go in and sign it today and I can advertise it in the next, within the next 30
I
days.
forgot.
So, yeah,
I forgot you wanted to do
Right,
that.
right, so, yeah, you can adopt it if you so choose.
Okay, so with the changes on there, or I guess, does anybody have any other questions for Denny or Jackie? they will have the ability, if we pass this, to look for grants, with personnel, but just for operating funds and things
For
like that.
programming.
And that was at their request when they came in to talk to us. That was one of their,
Right.
Now, this doesn't change as far as, this, the prior ordinance specifically said there's no financial obligation to the county to support the park department.
Right.
And that's still part of
That's
the.
still the way the original ordinance was
Yeah.
drafted.
This is just that one section, so. Any other discussion or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to pass the amendment to the general ordinance 2025, the amending ordinance is number 2010-1.
I'll make that.
Motion from Brandon,
second.
second from Matt. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passes 6-0. Transfers.
First one I have is for, the free trial grant. I know Jared's here. Any questions of him concerning this transfer? It's, taking it from 4 different line items into education and training.
And that's on these funds and those different line items. Any questions for Jared? Further discussion?
Move to approve.
I have a motion from Mary to approve the request, a second from Tom. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries 6-0.
There's that transfer. I think Jared had another one. I'll just stay with probation. Start with the problem-solving grant, decreasing education and training to your analysis in the amount of $1,911.43.
Motion approved.
Motion from Trey to approve the transfer, and a second. Second from Brandon. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries 6-0. This is Jared's here. Does anybody have any other questions relative to probation for him? He's here, put him on the hot seat a little bit. Are you fully staffed? No, I think you had
They are right
posting
now,
for,
it will be in about a week.
yeah,
One female leaving, and I've got a case manager leaving this week after that.
okay, and those have already been posted, I think, haven't
They've
they?
been posted.
Yeah, I remembered seeing something, so,
Yeah, both are posted.
everything going well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Okay,
Okay, we'll move on to statewide 911. Jay's here for any questions. He's asking for a decrease in his, I know this was something that was discussed earlier, he was going to get an additional, and then discovered the fact that there's a dispatcher's pay that there was nothing coming out of. So now he's transferring that 50,000 from that dispatcher position to part-time overtime.
and Jay, is that gonna run you through the year then, as far as you can anticipate?
I'm hoping so. We are gonna have some additional training hours. We've hired 2 part-time employees, So there'll be some additional expenses associated with the training of those folks. But hopefully that should sustain us through the end of this year. I will probably appear in a couple months. There's a couple line items that I noticed that we're already in the red. I need to get all my information together for your information for that. So you'll probably see me in the December's meeting just to square up a couple of line item funds, but I'm hoping, yes, that 50,000 should last us at the end of the year for overtime fund.
Any other questions for Jay?
Move to approve.
A motion from Mary to approve the request. With a second. Second from Brandon. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries 6-0 for the transfer.
The next one is Superior Court 1, asking for a transfer from physician's line item in $4,500 to special appointments. Typically, Superior Court 1 is doing this once they receive some billing for this, so I'm assuming that is the case.
That's the normal request from the courts. Those type of things, so.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion from Max to approve, second from Tom. Okay. Any further discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion transfer is approved, 6-0.
The last one for transfer is for the commissioners, requesting $1,000 be transferred to the gas oil and lube situation. We've, I think Anna was working on this out to the highway. I received a bill for about $3,500 for gas. And we only have 2 vehicles that we take to conferences, so I questioned it. I go, wow, but the fobs, because of transfer of vehicles and stuff like that, and the fob numbers are wearing off of those, I was billed for everything that came for the general, or for the people up here. So, without knowing where to take from, I'm just going to pay it, and it's all in general fund anyway, so I'm just went ahead and paid that, but I needed a little bit more money in there to cover that expense. So, I know Anna's working on it to get the fobs all in the right place, and so billing should be different from now on, but,
So you're saying instead of it being divvied up between like the sheriff's department
the sheriff's department is okay, the sheriff's department,
bad example, like.
No, that would have been $35,000.
Yeah, right.
$35,000. No, I think a lot of it was building the plan, who else, the assessor. Yeah, some of those were just kind of all grouped into the courthouse. And so it was all general fund vehicles, so this is coming out of general fund as well. So it's just, kind of fell on the commissioners. I wanted to get that bill paid because it goes to the oil company.
The fobs that get taken care of.
Yeah, I believe, I believe they were working on those to try to get those, all taken care of, so.
Okay. Alrighty, so I have a request for a transfer for $1,000 from legal publication and gas oil.
Yeah, we need to vote on it, don't we? So moved.
Okay.
Motion from Mary. Second from Tom. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Transfer is approved, so.
Last thing I have for you is the CCD, Max is here. Have a question about that?
We only had one CCD claim, and that was in September for $388.95. This was for parts to general ledger.
Question? Motion from Tom to approve,
Second?
second from Mary. Further discussion, questions? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. CCD is approved 6-0. Any other questions for Max as long as he's here?
With Denny and
Tell
DOC.
him you got some money.
So we did get some money from, I know it's brought up, Shelley had texted me, I was on a Fed run. So, we did receive, $178,524.31, we're still trying to figure that one out, for county felons. And I'm not sure what dates that's paid us through, so we're having to do some checking on that. Then we received another payment today for $36,987.68 for some county felon parole and some medical. So, we're still trying to hash out where we're at, because we're still calculating they're 462,000 behind, so that's just a drop in the bucket, so, take that off there and see where we're at, but we're still stay in contact, stay on top of it.
The feds, we still got,
I have 17, I believe, housed right now, and, I think we're sitting around 187 total inmates.
they're still paying like they.
Oh, yeah, well, we will until the government shuts down, but, if we don't receive payment, they will reimburse us back, so I'm not too worried about that.
How often the feds pay you, Max? Is it
What's that?
monthly? How often they pay?
Monthly?
Is it monthly?
Yeah, we do the billing, we get a check, I mean, it's usually pretty quick with them.
State pays about, every year and a half, 2 years.
That's county facing, the feds pays.
I'll just say this, they pay better than the state.
Alright.
Any other questions?
Trey, if you'll see, I need something for you to sign here for you.
Okay, so, next month, we'll have Ben on the agenda, of abatements. Anything else for good cause for the council?
Move to adjourn.
Motion from Mary to adjourn,
Second.
second from Max. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
See you next month. Randy, you look like you had a question there.
I was just thirding it, but then he beat me.
Usually got their section. Wait, I don't have, I gotta go this way.
Yeah,
I'll
Tippy,
scan a copy.
Valley,
That's fine.
Garrett.
But again, I just wanted to see. Hey Todd, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Business been good?
Oh, yeah.
Had some fish the other day, it's delicious.
Good, thank you.
Probably their best. Yeah. They look That'd be Garrett last year. West Noble lost smaller heartbreaker by 1 point. Garrett won the semi-state.
Last year, yeah.
Last year,
Right.
Garrett lost a lot of
Yeah, I know
seniors,
they're,
so they've won a couple.
Yeah.
They played West Noble tough, it's kind of been a rivalry the last few years, but I think that they're the favorite.
Good.
Hey, wait just a minute.
Yeah, hey guys, I tried my daughter cheers.